We are the group number 9, composed of me, Camila Lessa, Janaína Malaquias, and Juliana Daniela. For this work, we chose a tale entitled Deep Holes of the proposed book Too Much Happenings by Alice Muro. For your better understanding, we divided between us the topics about the tale. Now, you will start to see Juliana talking a little about the story.
The story is about a family that goes to a picnic in the woods to celebrate that Alex, the father, had his first solo article published in a scientific magazine. During this event, we can get to know a little bit of the characters' personalities and their relationship as a family, especially between the parents and their older son, Kent. Alex is kind of rough with the kids. He appears to be kind of cold towards his family. We think that this has to do with his profession. He's a geologist, so he's hard like a rock. Sally is always trying to mediate this hard relationship between the father and the kids. She's a great mom with a big heart. Kent, a 9-year-old boy by then, is seen by his parents as a troublemaker and a show-off. At some point, Kent falls into a crevice and is badly injured, but his father promptly saves him with a little help of Sally. After that, Kent starts to treat his father like a hero, which gets on Alex's nerves, but Sally asks him not to let Kent notice that. The relationship between father and son improves a little when Kent gets into college to study sciences, but this has only lasted for 6 months. After that, Kent kind of disappears. Later, they find him working in a tire store, and he seems happy and refuses to go back as his parents ask him. They think that this is only a phase, but Kent only contacts them again 3 years later through a letter talking about his life, his new point of view and beliefs. Kent recognizes that what he calls his near-death experience was responsible for this, and he expresses his eternal gratitude towards his parents, who saved him. Their parents couldn't understand him at all, especially Alex, who imagines that he's high on drugs or deprived of sex. The years pass with no more news from Kent. Meanwhile, his brother Peter goes into medicine and his sister Savannah into law. His mother starts to help his father, who is retired from his teaching, to write a book. Besides the fact that Alex is a little controlling towards Sally, they become closer, good friends, until he dies that summer. In the fall, while the TV news was showing a dramatic fire in Toronto, Savannah calls her mother to say that she saw Kent there helping people. Although she doesn't know her brother very well, she starts to do whatever she can in order to find him, until she finally does. She learns more about her brother, the kind of life he's having, and what he thinks of life. He already knows about his father's death, and says that his mother can meet him if she wants to. As a caring mother she is, of course she accepts right away. When she finally meets him, he was different from what she could remember. He was wearing some old clothes, very short hair, he even had some missing teeth, and was very thin, looking older than he was. Kent takes her to an old house in a very bad condition, condemned actually, where he is living with other people who he considers his life for the past 9 years. They accept anyone who wants to live there, and they support themselves by begging on the streets, and they have to overcome some things, like shame or the concept of mine. He is living a new lifestyle there, very different from what people are used to in the contemporary world. He is kind of living out of the system, and he even changed his name to Jonah. He then tells her that he came to the conclusion that there is no inside stuff, only outside. That means what you do in every moment of your life. And since he realized this, he has been happy. That's how he found happiness, thinking only about how he can help, and now he avoids personal relationships and denies love, what he considers something stupid. Anyway, something about his life experience made him change his life completely. After that meeting, Sally keeps thinking about her life, if she is unworthy, and the kind of life that her son chose for him and was happy with.
We found some specific words that caught our attention. Look, first, about food and drink. The narrator cites deviled eggs, crab salad, and Argentine champagne called moon, and in Kuwait, a flavored drink. Then, he mentioned the names of 3 places: Colligin Hood Hospital, the Osler Bluff, a mountainous region in Canada, and Heathrow Airport, the London's airport. Alex's dad was a geologist, so he talked to his children about 2 types of rock: the dolomite, a sedimentary rock, and shale, a metamorphic rock that may change according to the pressure or temperature. Furthermore, the narrator cites other specific names. He talks about a German newspaper that publishes articles about geomorphology. Unfortunately, I can't speak the newspaper's name because it's right in German. The tale also talks about the Hare Krishna. It is a religious, philosophical, and cultural association derived from Hinduism.
Hello guys, I will be talking about the culture found in this tale. First, picnic. In the history, the characters had a picnic in the woods, a very common thing in North American cultures. It is like a family tradition. It seems a great opportunity to spend some quality time together and make the family bond strong. Second, homeschooling. Homeschooling is very common in North America, including Canada. They believe that this brings a lot of benefits for the children, like closer family bonds, more attention to their needs and abilities, no bullying, better socialization with other people. Third, college in our city or state. It's very common that the children leave their parents' house when they go to college. Usually, they live in the college camps or in republics. They become independent immediately following completion of college. Next, the grammatical structures. Simple past, affirmative, negative, interrogative. Simple present, affirmative, negative, interrogative. To be, present, past, interrogative. Present perfect simple, affirmative, negative. Present perfect continuous, affirmative. Past perfect simple, affirmative, negative. Past perfect continuous or past perfect progressive, affirmative. Future will. Be going to more verb. Be going to more verb. Modals: could, should, can. Must, may, might, have to. Semi-modal verb, used to. Relative clause, defining clause, non-defining, when. Where, whose, whom, in descriptions.
We can compare the story at a family relationship level with some other stories of the book. For example, in the story Dimensions, one of the heaviest in our opinion, different from Deep Holes, where the father had a cold relationship towards his family, even if there was some improvement later with his wife, the relationship between Lloyd and Doree was really intense, even for the bad side. It was so extreme that came to the point where he couldn't stand the idea of his wife leaving him, even with all their fights, because he was so controlling and ended up killing their children, allegedly to save them the misery of knowing that their mother had walked out on them. And after all that happened, his wife couldn't abandon him in an institution for the criminally insane, showing that she was unable to break the control he had over her, and he still manipulates her with some story about other dimensions. She only returns to reality after saving the life of a man, an event that makes her take back the control of her own life. Another story we can use to compare the family relationship is Face. In this story, the father rejects his son because he was born with a purple birthmark in his face. His mother, just like Sally, tries to make things better, or at least not so bad, by managing this complicated relationship between father and son. After the kid was born, the relationship between husband and wife got a little colder, but she was a very devoted mother to her son. And besides his mother, this boy was loved by a little girl too, Nancy, his best friend when he was a child, that loved him despite the fact that he was a disfigured child. One thing that is common in all those stories is that all the women stayed in a relationship with men who didn't treat them well, and all the fathers had a problematic relationship with their kids, with the mother being the loving figure between all that. In this book, Alice Munro could explore deep stories, mainly with domestic and familiar themes that make us think about our own lives.